Hi, my name is Churchill Librarian. Today we are reading this wonderful American Indian folktale, Raccoon's Last Race. This tale was told to Joseph Bruchac and James Bruchac, and it's illustrated by Jose Aruego and Ariane Dewey. I hope you enjoy this story of the history of the raccoon, shall we say. Maybe not the history that scientists have told, but I think you'll really enjoy it. Long ago, Raccoon did not look the way he does today. This is what Raccoon used to look like. You might notice some differences from what we think of raccoons today, right? Back then, Ospan the raccoon had very long legs, and he was a fast runner. In fact, he was the fastest of all the animals. Because of this, he liked nothing better than to challenge the other animals to a race. With his long legs, he would always win. He would race Bear. Zip, zip! He would beat Bear. He would race Fox. Zip, zip! He would beat Fox. He would race Rabbit. Zip, zip! He would beat Rabbit. Osban the raccoon also liked to taunt the other animals. While racing, he would turn his head back to look at his competitor, and he would sing, "He, look at me. I am Osban, I am fast. Look at you, ho, ho, ho. You are very, very slow." Definitely not very nice at all. As you might imagine, this didn't please the other animals. After a while, none would accept Osban's challenges. In fact, they even refused to speak to him because he was always trying to taunt them into racing again. This didn't stop him. He began to play tricks on the other animals. He would hide in a tree, and when the animals walked by, he would jump down and frighten them because Osban was so fast, no one could ever catch him. One day, Osban noticed someone sitting at the top of a tall hill. "Perhaps I can play a trick on that one. Perhaps I can challenge him to a race," Osban said. He quickly ran to the top of the hill. But when he got there, he discovered that it was not an animal at all. It was a big rock. This did not stop Osban. He loved to talk, especially about himself. "Grandfather, are you a fast runner?" he asked. "I am Osban. I am the fastest of all the animals." To Osban's surprise, Big Rock spoke back. Use your imagination. This is a world where rabbits and rocks talk. In a deep voice, it said, "No, grandson, I do not travel. I just sit here." "You should try it, grandfather," Osban said. "Grandson," Big Rock said, "I do not want to travel. I have been here for a long, long time. That is how it will always be." Osban smiled. "Maybe not, grandfather. I will help you." What do you think how is he going to try to help him? Then Osban got behind Big Rock and began to push and push. As he did so, the rock began to wobble back and forth. Thump, 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 thump. Osban pushed harder and harder. Kaboom! The rock fell over on its side and began to roll. Kaboom! 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 It rolled on down the hill. "Aha, grandfather!" Osban shouted. "Now you are traveling!" As Big Rock rolled down the hill, Osban quickly caught up and ran alongside. "How do you like it?" he asked. And Big Rock answered, "Kaboom! Kaboom! Kaboom!" Well, as that rock rolled down the hill, it naturally began to pick up speed. "Yippee!" thought Osban. "This rock is trying to challenge me to a race. I will show it a thing or two." Running as fast as he could, Osban the raccoon flew past the rock that was rolling. Kaboom! Kaboom! Down the hill. He began to zigzag in front of Big Rock while turning around taunting. "Ha ha! You are very slow, grandfather. I, Osban, am very fast." Do you think this is a good idea? Definitely not a nice one. But Osban turned his head to taunt that rock one time too many. Not looking where he was going, he tripped. "Ka-thunk!" He fell on the ground right in front of Big Rock. Since the rock had never been traveling before, it didn't know how to stop. Instead, it went kaboom, kaboom, splat, kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. On and on the rock traveled, enjoying itself quite a bit. And there lay Ospan, the raccoon, rolled so flat and wide by the rock that he could not move his arms or legs or even his head. All he could move were his lips. "Help me! Somebody please help me!" he said in a small, flattened-out voice. But no one seemed to hear Ospan's cry for help, or maybe remembering all the tricks he had played. They did hear and pretended not to notice. Bear skipped by, but didn't stop to help. Fox trotted by, but didn't stop to help. Rabbit, kabunk, kabunk, hopped right over him, appeared not to even notice, didn't stop to help. One by one, just about every animal in the forest passed Ospan by. Do you think they noticed? Do you think they saw? Ospan began to think he would be lying there forever. Then, toward the end of the day, one of the smallest creatures walked by, one of the ants. Walking right on top of him, he looked down at Ospan's flattened-out face and asked, "How can I help you? Everyone says we ants are good for nothing." Ospan hoped for someone a little bigger than an ant, but he looked up and said, "Oh no, I think you ants are wonderful. Please go get all of your sisters, brothers, and cousins, and help pull me back into shape. If you do, I promise that I'll always be your friend." Now, it's not easy being an ant. Other creatures are always kicking you around, not even noticing you. With a friend as big as Ospan, the ant thought, maybe everyone will show us a little more respect. "I will help," said the ant. "But remember your promise." Yes, yes, of course," said Ospan. "Now hurry up and get back here with the others." Do you think Ospan will remember his promise? Let's see. And so the ant went back to his village. "Hear me," he said. "Ospan the Great has promised he will always be our friend if we help pull him back into shape." The ants agreed that it would be good to have a friend as big as Ospan, and so before long, all of the ants, thousands of them, gathered around the raccoon and began to do something they do very well: work together. Those ants pulled and pushed and pulled and pushed. They began putting Ospan back into shape. Soon Ospan the raccoon could move. He stood up, and as he did so, he saw that many of the ants were still clinging to his body. Instead of being grateful for what they had done, he just brushed them off and said, "Horrible little ants." He promised he was going to be their friend. He began to walk away without even saying thank you. However, after only a few steps, he noticed something. His legs were very short. His body was still quite wide. He had brushed those ants off before they finished stretching him out. But having broken his promise, he knew the ants would never agree to help finish the job. Instead, Raccoon had to learn to accept being the short, squatty animal he is to this day. And he is certainly not a fast runner. So this is Raccoon's last race. I hope you enjoyed this traditional American Indian folktale. Thanks so much for listening, and keep on reading.